I use the phrase buying stock to describe being held up by some anchor. So let me explain to you where all this originated from. Well, actually, I'll start with what inspired me to finally make this video today. So I went to the bank before work, plenty of time to get there and get to work. And good thing I gave myself plenty of time, because when I got there, as soon as I walked into the lobby, there was a line of people. There were only 2 tellers working, but there were more than 2 employees in the bank. And one teller was doing double duty, dealing with the drive-through. Of course, that's the teller that's the furthest away from the drive-through station, so that just slows things down even more. And one of the tellers was out to lunch, I guess, but there were other employees at the bank. You could see the pogues in their cubicles just sitting there with their tie and wingtips, and you could look down the long hallway behind the tellers and see people in the far back office. But none of them were getting up to man a post and get us all out of the bank, deal with all the customer transactions. No. They're too good for that. As a matter of fact, at one point I saw one come behind the counter there to, I thought, maybe fire up the station and help the tellers out. No, he was handing a piece of paper to one of the tellers, slowing her down even further. When one of the customers in front of me finally got up to the teller, it was an old couple, and they were totally confused and lost. And the teller that they were dealing with was about the same age. So now we have 3 confused, lost senior citizens who don't know what the heck is going on. They were there because they're having a problem with their credit card, and they wanted to resolve it. That's not something you do at the teller. Another person was there with the other teller, who was the one bouncing back and forth between the drive-through and her terminal there, and the one that got interrupted by the pogue from the cubicle. She was printing a fucking book for her customer. Seriously, they should hang a sign out front that says Kinko's. And at a later point, she made some comment about it's tax season. This is the 3rd book I printed today. So she even recognized the fact that she's not a bank teller. She's a freaking working at a printing press, I guess. She's not working at a bank. She's working at a fucking printing shop. And eventually I made it up there and was able to handle my transaction, which was to make a cash withdrawal. You see, the teller at the bank is for withdrawals and deposits. Nothing more, nothing less. A week prior I was there, and somebody came up to the teller. Of course, there's a line again, and the drive-thru's backed up. And he's got a piece of paper in his hand, and he's demanding to have it notarized. And the teller's trying to explain to him, "Sir, I don't do that. It's got to be one of the associates over there in the office." And then she asked him, "Do you have an account?" "No, I don't." "Sir, we only notarize stuff for people who have an account." He's standing there with his arms crossed, stamping his foot, going, "I am not leaving until somebody notarizes this piece of paper." I'm not kidding. Finally, one of the pogues in her cubicle overheard this and got up and said, "Sir, come over here, I'll help you out." She just wanted to get him the hell out of the bank, because none of us were going to get in there for our withdrawals or deposits until she dealt with this asshole. And that's what I mean by buying stock. You're at a counter where you're dealing with somebody in customer service, and you're asking for a service either they don't do or they don't ordinarily do, and you're being an anchor on society because you're holding up the line. The rest of us just want to get in and get out, and you need to be dealt with, and you're not willing to schedule an appointment. You're not willing to have an account. You're not willing to come in there at a time where there isn't a lot of people there or anything like that. You're going to be dealt with, and you're not leaving until you do. Where this came from was years ago, I went to a bank branch at a grocery store that I frequented. I would go there, and it was convenient. It was on the way home. It was on the way to work. They had pretty good hours, and maybe on occasion I might do some grocery shopping after I dealt with my withdrawal or deposit at the bank, right? It was really kind of convenient. And I had to run down there to get some money and then come home. I should have been round trip 10 minutes, right? I was there for a long time. And when I came home, my wife asked me, what took so long? And I said, some asshole in front of me was buying stock. She said, what do you mean by that? The person in front of me who was dealing with the one teller at the bank, there were 2 stations, but there was only one teller. I want to say it was like on a Saturday or something. And, of course, as usual, the office pogues in the back, they don't get up off their ass and come help out. They were paying their mortgage and checking on their investments at the teller window. They weren't there for a withdrawal or a deposit. Now, somebody go, well, you just go to the ATM. I haven't had an ATM card in 20 years. I got an ATM card last year for the first time in almost 20 years because I had to because of the whole COVID bullshit. Otherwise, I don't deal with ATMs. I don't like them. And you might go, well, you're the anchor because you won't. There's plenty of other people that like to go to the teller for their transactions. Also, there are 2 denominations that I get that you can't get from the ATM. So I have legitimate business with the teller. But I'm in and I'm out. I might chit-chat with the teller if the bank is almost empty or empty and I have the time. Otherwise, I get in and I get out and they know it. I see the same tellers every week or 2 weeks. They know me by name. It's easy. I don't go in there and try to do something that I wouldn't ordinarily do. When we set our son up with his checking account, we asked the teller, how do we go about this? And she said, oh, I can set you up with an associate. And she waves over one of the bank managers, and we go and sit behind the wall in the cubicle and sit there for like 45 minutes and set up his account and everything else, right? We didn't try to do that at the teller window. So if you ever hear me say, I was held up because somebody was buying stock, it's not just at the bank either. When you go to the service desk at the grocery store, they might do different things like handle returns, or they might have a post office branch there, or they sell lottery tickets or other things like that. Then that might be where you go if you get your job application, if you're looking to get a job there, something like that. But there are other people there that go there and they make a big deal out of it. They will stay there. They will plant their fat ass there, and they will stay there until they get what they want, whether it be waiting for that store manager to come up or whatever it is. And I can get that to a certain point. You want to stand on your principles about you're not going to get screwed over. I get that. But sometimes they're just there, and they're conducting so much business. It's like, damn, can you not see the 15 people in line who just want to return an item or buy some lottery tickets or something? I mean, And the stores and the banks and other places like that don't help either when they have multiple windows and they only have one employee there. And I can understand lately there's been shortages and you have to take what you can get. I actually had somebody at the store when I went to go challenge them because they charged me full price when the item should have been on sale. Instead of using the sale ad that was right next to him, the printed ad that was right next to him, he actually got onto his smartphone, his personal phone, and looked at the sale ad digitally online. And then when I was explaining to him, here's the sale price, here's what they charged me. And it was like, a $5 difference, right? He actually had to use the calculator on his phone, and then when he couldn't figure it out, he did it by hand in front of me, and he used Common Core math. It took forever. And I'm going, seriously, dude, it's just $5. Issue me a fucking $5 gift card and let me be on my way. So it wasn't me being the anchor. It wasn't me buying stock. It was this moron behind the counter who didn't know his job. But that's what they had because that's the best they're going to get in today's economy, in today's climate, as far as hiring employees and retaining employees, unfortunately. And it can be at other places too. If you're at the casino and you've lost your Players Club card and you go up to the cashier and you say, I need a new Players Club card, they'll point you to the Players Club. They will not see you if you need a new card. And if the Players Club's closed, oh well, too bad. Guess you better come back tomorrow, dude. And that's how you handle these people that are buying stock. You make it quite clear that they're not getting a damn thing from you, and they're just better off leaving and letting the customers who have legitimate business go about their business instead of being an anchor on society. So if you ever hear me say that, that's what I mean. Hey, man, what took so long? Somebody was buying stock. You don't go to the bank teller to check on your 401k and pay your mortgage, asshole. Thanks for listening.